Chapter 966, Favoritism. With eyes lit up in surprise, Singluan excitedly said, "Alrighty. The day I've been waiting for has finally come. If anything, I'm ready to leave at a moment's notice from you. Frankly speaking, I'd have chosen your older brother if we hadn't had an agreement first," said Tang Xiu with a faint smile. "You're a little behind him in doing things, though perhaps it is due to your age. I know that I'm not as good as Singguo in many aspects. That I admit," said Singluan with a wry expression, "but there's one thing that I'm much better than him at, though. That is what makes me sure that I'll be the final winner." "Mind telling me which aspect is it?" asked Tang Xiu with a curious face. "It's luck," said Singluan smilingly. His answer made Tang Xiu think for a moment and he immediately said with a smile, "True that. You're the one who first met me, so your luck is better than your older brother. Also, I'm a man who always keeps my word, so I'll make sure to hold my part of the agreement, even though your big brother eventually found me and wanted me to stay out of the issue between you both. Well, that includes ignoring the fact that he also gave me the jade pig I want." "What did you say?" exclaimed Singluan. "He gave you the jade pig already?" "This? Don't worry about that." Tang Xiu patted his shoulder and said, "He did give me the pig jade and I gave him my word that I wouldn't be involved in anything happened between the both of you, while you're in Thailand. If he can kill you there, you can only blame your bad luck and fate. Pity for him that he wasn't able to kill you, though." It made Singluan remember the time when Tang Xiu had just left Thailand. That night, his older brother took a lot of experts to besiege and kill him. He would have died that time had he not taken his closest men to escape via his underground tunnel. Regardless of succeeding in fleeing that day, he still suffered from being chased even 3 days later. If it weren't for 2 experts who suddenly appeared, he'd have lost his life under the hands of the many men under Singguo who chased him. However, he already knew that those mysterious people were Tang Xiu's subordinates. Shortly after, Singluan said, "Anyway, I sensed something amiss when I first came to this island, Mr. Tang. Do you mind if I ask you about it?" "Do ask," said Tang Xiu. "I sensed a kind of mana that had yet to dissipate the moment I came here," said Singluan. "This magic power was different from the one that my dark shaman clan's cultivation system is based on, however. It was much purer and a bit like the mana left behind by the Celestial Wizard clan." "You know about the Celestial Wizard clan?" asked Tang Xiu with a changed face. "How would I not know about them?" said Singluan. "I know a lot about the Celestial Wizard clan. This clan is from Poland, and it has many clansmen, about 10 times more than my Dark Shaman clan. They also have a lot of powerhouses, so much so that even my current strength is just equal to average experts among them. No, I may be just an average person among them." "What exactly is the relationship between your clan and the Celestial Wizard clan?" asked Tang Xiu. "We are related, and it is quite a deep relationship if I may say," said Singluan. "The Dark Shaman clan was separated from the Celestial Wizard clan a little over 7 centuries ago. It was because my clan ancestors broke the custom of the Celestial Wizard clan, thus facing the situation of being killed and excommunicated. Therefore, my ancestors led dozens of clansmen from our family branch to blaze a bloody path before they finally came to Thailand and took root there, but after more than 7 centuries, and after the elite clansmen continued to fall, our wizardry arts can no longer be compared to as they were in the past." Tang Xiu immediately understood and asked again, "Then what do you feel about the Celestial Wizard clan now?" "I don't have any particular opinion about them." Singluan shook his head and said, "If they don't provoke us, my clan has simply been a bystander. After all, if it weren't for the ancestors carving a bloody path back then, the Dark Shaman clan descendants wouldn't exist nowadays." "I see." Tang Xiu nodded and said, "Well, I will tell you that I and the Celestial Wizard clan are mortal enemies. I won't take any action to get rid of them for the time being as I have many things to deal with at hand at the moment. But if they dare to come and make trouble again, then I'll make sure to completely destroy them." It's good that you don't want to have anything to do with the Celestial Wizard clan anymore. You have a blood feud with the Celestial Wizard clan? What exactly happened? Asked Singluan, surprised. This clan's people came to Nine Dragons Island to rob and occupy my place, said Tang Shou calmly. The two people who came were killed in the following fight, so a large number of Celestial Wizard clan experts came rushing to nearby waters, thus clashing with my men. And the result of it? Asked Singluan hurriedly. That clan's grand elder led a lot of powerhouses, but they eventually fled miserably after many of them were killed by me and my men. Only more than 10 of them were able to escape. Tongue-tied and dumbfounded, Singluan stared at Tang Shou. He had heard about the grand elder of the Celestial Wizard clan who possessed terrifying power. The man was absolutely a dreadful figure, so much so that even his father and most of the Dark Shaman's experts were far inferior to. Singluan wanted to speak out something, but his mind was so chaotic that he didn't know what to say. Well, you're not related to this problem, Singluan. This has nothing to do with your Dark Shaman clan either, said Tang Shou with a light smile while patting his shoulder. Oftentimes staying out of the way is a wise decision to make. Just continue your cultivation, and we'll gather to leave for Bangkok tomorrow. This time, apart from killing your older brother, your old man should also abdicate and give up his position. I look forward to having more business deals with you as the patriarch of the Dark Shaman clan in the future. What Tang Shou said was understandable for Singluan, so he nodded and said, no worries about that. The Dark Shaman clan will always be your closest ally as long as I live. All right. Bangkok, Thailand. Surrounded by vast towering mountains, there existed a complex of reinforced buildings. The eldest prince of the Dark Shaman clan, Xingguo, hurriedly walked toward the complex with a grim complexion. Behind him were dozens of his men, many of whom glancing at him with concern and worry. Deep inside the building complex was a low-rise building, a house with an altar, in which the current patriarch of the Dark Shaman clan lived in. Xingguo was on that altar with black fog covering his whole body, including his face. Despite it, his eyes were extremely keen and lit up as his vision looked around the altar and saw Xingguo coming in from the outside. You seem to be in a foul mood, Xingguo? A voice that seemed like it was from afar came out of Xingguo's mouth. I can't hide anything between me and Singluan, can I, father? Xingguo nodded and said, he's going to kill me, so I've got to give him back the same kindness in return. Xingguo fell into silence for quite a while before he sighed and said, you both are already grown up, and I understand what you have in mind. I know that there's no room left for any peaceful resolution between you and him from now on, so I have no other choice. I'm still the current patriarch of the Dark Shaman clan and I have no way to be partial to you nor Singluan. Hence, you can only solve this life and death issue between you both. You know the power I have, as well as that more than half of the Dark Shaman clan listen to my command, father, said Xingguo. Singluan has allied with the head of a mysterious force in China, and he wants to remove me by relying on the help of this foreign power. Should we engage in the final battle, our clan would very likely suffer serious damage even if I come out as the victor, so I need your help in this matter. A chilling light flashed in Xingguo's eyes as he asked with a deep voice, is the other party really strong? They are very strong, answered Xingguo. I took my men to besiege Singluan and his men a couple of days ago. But two mysterious people came and saved all of them in the end. I even lost quite a number of my men. This time, Xingguo was silent for a very long time and asked again, how do you need me to help you? Issue a decree to return to the clan, said Xingguo. It will make Singluan come back immediately. As long as he returns to Bangkok, the problem between me and him can be easily dealt with. That Chinese man has promised that as long as I can defeat Singluan before he is done dealing with his affairs, then he won't become enemies with our clan. He even said that he and our clan could also strike business deals. What kind of deal exactly? Asked Xingguo. I'm not sure about for now, but it should be beneficial to us. Xingguo shook his head. If so, then I'll issue the decree to return to the clan. Xingqiu nodded and said, but you will rely on yourself for the rest. Hong Kong. Li Jiren was sitting on the sofa in his office, groaning and complaining inwardly while looking at the two middle-aged men in front. Their expression was that of anger, and they released their oppressive auras as they glared at him. These two men before him were really too strong-headed and powerful. These men came with seething anger, wanting to punish him just because he didn't help them collect enough raw jade. It was due to him giving Tang Xiu the rest of the raw jade he had acquired. I really had no means left. The price of raw jade has risen nearly twice as high as before on the market, while a large number of jewelers are also desperately buying raw materials for jade. Some small jade businesses are even in crisis due to the short supply nowadays. Two gentlemen, I told you that I need at least half a month. I will definitely give you enough raw jade at that time, even if I must steal them, said Li Jie with a forced, wry smile while wiping off beads of sweat on his forehead. The two middle-aged men looked at each other, and the oppressing aura coming out of them weakened a bit. One of them coldly humphed and said, we have no time to waste, so we can't give you 2 weeks. We'll give you 7 days, and we'll fulfill our end of the deal if you get all the raw jades we need. But if you fail, don't blame us for being ruthless when we make you taste regret. Li Jiren gulped and said with a helpless face, I can only say that I'm going to try my best. Killing me if I still can't fulfill the deal in the end is also no use. Humph, snorted the middle-aged man as he got up and said before he left, we'll be back 7 days from now. I really hope you can show us a good result. Li Jiren wanted to stand up and send them off, but his legs were slightly trembling, so he remained on the sofa and waved, take care, gentlemen. Chapter 967, Moving Openly. The midsummer heat blazed, making the world feel like it was a melting pot, as though it wanted to steam the humans within. The busy port was packed with people hurrying to and from the moored and sailing ships. Boss. Tom Reggie had received the notice in advance, and he had long been waiting with a few of his trusted men. Ever since he went to Nine Dragons Island with Tang Xiu a few days ago and saw the power of the Everlasting Feast Hall's experts, under Tang Xiu, he had firmly made up his mind to work and follow Tang Xiu for his entire life, and thus obtain himself a cultivation art that would make him stronger. He returned back earlier a couple of days ago since he received a very important message. Tang Xiu walked forward and came to the front of Tom Reggie as his eyes swept the surroundings. Then, he asked with an indifferent face, how is the progress with the task I gave you? I've confirmed the identity of the other party, boss. But we have been standing still so as to avoid alerting them, answered Tom Reggie. Sen. Mr. Song told me to wait until you return to Saipan to make a decision though. They haven't given up on spying on me. Might as well pull out these nails, sneered Tang Xiu with squinted eyes. Taking action during the day will create unnecessary problems, so we'll move tonight to avoid trouble. Anyway, you know where Uncle Song lives, right? Tell me the address. I'm going to visit him. Tom Reggie told Tang Xiu the address, but there was hesitation on his face as he reported again. Mr. Song's residence is under the surveillance of the Dark Wind Organization's people, boss. If you visit him this openly, I'm afraid that you'll also enter their eyes. How about I send someone to inform Mr. Song first to tell him to meet you elsewhere? The Dark Wind Organization is the largest intelligence agency in the world, and it is said that they have a lot of spies literally everywhere, sneered Tang Xiu. Who can guarantee that their branch here hasn't caught the news of my return to Saipan when I set foot on the shore? There's no need to hide from them now that I'm here. It's even possible to dispel their suspicions if I visit Uncle Song openly. Tom Reggie seemed to think about it for a moment before he nodded, true that. It will look even more suspicious if you're avoiding being seen. Nevertheless, the Dark Wind Organization will likely be able to conclude that there's something between me and Mr. Song if they know that you're coming. Do you think that if your former backer didn't go and find someone from the Dark Wind Organization, then their spies wouldn't take the initiative to tell him about the private meeting between you and Uncle Song? asked Tang Xiu indifferently. Not really. I know a bit about how they work, boss. Tom Reggie shook his head and said, they won't take the initiative to sell intel unless there's someone wanting to buy it. However, there's a possibility regarding that matter as far as I'm concerned. Which possibility? Asked Tang Xiu. My former backer himself is a member of the Darkwind organization, boss, said Tom Reggie. Tang Xiu's expression changed. But he shook his head and said, he won't easily rely on any non-governmental forces if he becomes a high-ranking official. Otherwise, even if he did it in secrecy, there will be a day of exposing his tail. The Saipan authorities won't sit idly by and do nothing about them. You're also right, boss. Tom Reggie nodded and said, still, please be careful since I won't be able to follow you when you visit Mr. Song. There's no need to follow me, Tom. Tang Xiu smiled and said, just take care of the preparation well, as your role is indispensable when Uncle Song takes on the big boss of Saipan. I'll be careful. You can rest assured about that, boss. Tom Reggie nodded. Tang Xiu nodded and ordered Tom Reggie to bring Singluan's group to the Lao Bei resort. Then, he took his 11 bodyguards under Mo Ao and Jin Shi's leadership to rush to Song Guanghui's residence. This time, he also took Tang Guang and Tang An from Nine Dragons Island. But just like Jin Shi and his team, they didn't directly follow Tang Xiu, but were simply nearby. They wouldn't appear unless Tang Xiu summoned them. The Jinla Mansion. Located near Hepburn Avenue was a complex with a beautiful environment and convenient transportation, with residents of the high stature in society. The Jinla Mansion was the most expensive mansion in this complex and was guarded by dozens of soldiers all year round, including even more guarding in secret. Who are you? This is a private residence of an official. Nobodies must leave immediately. Just as Tang Xiu and Mo Ao came to the gate of Jinla Mansion, the shout of a big man in a military uniform immediately greeted them, while 4 other armed soldiers followed. Is this the mansion of General Sun Hui? Asked Tang Xiu calmly. I'm General's acquaintance and have a close relationship with him. Please notify him that Tang Xiu has come to visit. The soldier observed Tang Xiu and rose his gun's muzzle, coldly replying, are you even qualified to visit the general's mansion? Huh? If everyone else is just like you, then those who have seen the general once will flock over here and make his residence be just like downtown. Leave at once, or don't blame us for arresting you. Tang Xiu creased his brows and took out his cell phone and said, since you're so rigid with your rules, you won't mind if I directly call General Sun Hui, will you? The response from the soldier was only a contemptuous look, although he didn't force Tang Xiu to leave. Instead, he kept his vigilant attitude in observing Tang Xiu, guarding against any sudden attack. Tang Xiu then dialed Song Guanghui's private number. After several rings, his call was picked up and Song Guanghui's hearty laughter greeted him on the other side. You're back, Tang Xiu? Tang Xiu let out a smile and said, I just returned to Saipan, so I went to your home to visit you. However, your soldier guard stopped me at the gate. Eh? You're at my house, said Song Guanghui with a surprised voice, that's great. All right, give your cell phone to the guards at the gate. I'm still busy with official business at the moment, so I'm afraid I can only be at home 2 hours from now. But your auntie is at home, so I'll call her after this to tell her to entertain you. All right, I'll wait for you, uncle. Tang Xiu replied, then handed over the mobile phone to the soldier and said, it's General Sun Hui on the phone. He wants to talk to you. With a half-doubting and half-believing face, the soldier took the mobile phone. The moment he recognized Song Guanghui's voice from the phone, his expression turned more respectful and he repeatedly nodded. As he eventually hung up the call, he looked at Tang Xiu and apologized, I'm really sorry, Mr. Tang. I had no idea that you're an honored guest of the general, so I was rude to you. Anyhow, the general has told me that you can go straight to his residence and wait for him. Tang Xiu nodded and led Mo Ao to enter the mansion's front door under the watchful eyes of the soldiers. The Jinla mansion had a large area, comprising of at least several acres of land. It took Tang Xiu and Mo more than 10 minutes to pass by the garden in the outer courtyard alone. Suddenly, a young army officer in full military uniform came out from the inside courtyard. After he saw Tang Xiu and Mo, he immediately asked with a curious face, "Eh? Who are you guys?" "I'm Tang Xiu from China," answered Tang Xiu with a light smile. "Your appearance is a resemblance to Uncle Song's. Given your young age and you strolling so casually inside the Jinla mansion, you should be Uncle Song's son, right? Are you Song Xiang or Song Yang?"
Ah.
"So you're the Tang Xiu that Dad mentioned." The young officer was surprised and said, "I'm Song Xiang by the way." A heroic posture, an elegant and imposing appearance. "You truly depict the adage in China that a tiger father would never beget a dog-like son," said Tang Xiu smilingly while stretching out his hands. "You should be half a year older than me, so I'll call you Brother Xian. Nice to meet you." Instead of replying, Song Xiang quickly glanced around. Only after he found that there was nobody in the surroundings did he finally shake hands with Tang Xiu, amiably replying, "Tang Xiu brother, Dad has told me and my family about the issue regarding Uncle Tang. Well, too many times to count, in fact. I'm glad you came to visit us here. Please come in and let's chat inside." Tang Xiu nodded with a smile in response. He then moved his hands into his pocket to take out a small gift box. He handed it to Song Xiang, saying, "Brother Xiang, this is a gift for our first meeting. I hope you accept it." Song Xiang's smile turned wider and, after receiving it, he said, "It's kind of you, Brother Tang. Can I open it?" "Please," said Tang Xiu with a nod. Song Xiang swiftly opened the small gift box. When he saw a beautifully carved jade tablet inside, he immediately said with a smile, "It's a very expensive gift. Brother Tang surely has spent a fortune on it. Anyway, Dad said that he's a sworn life and death brother with your father, so we are also brothers. We're a family, so you don't have to regard us as strangers in the future." "Exactly the same sentiment is in my heart," replied Tang Xiu with a smile. The three people had yet to enter the inner courtyard when a graceful, yet pale-looking, woman came out of the courtyard gate. Her appearance was like a beautiful lady who was ill, but her gorgeous eyes suddenly turned bright when she saw Tang Xiu, softly greeting him with a smile. "You must be the son of Big Brother Tang, Tang Xiu, right? I'm Guanghui's wife. Just call me Auntie." "Hello, Auntie. Pleased to meet you." "I'm Tang Xiu indeed," greeted back Tang Xiu hurriedly. When Jing nodded with a happy face and said, "I haven't seen Big Brother Tang for so many years. You know, we originally thought that he had encountered an accident, so it's really a happy surprise to us that he's still alive and even has a grown-up son. A tiger father truly won't have a dog-like son. Your father has been a big hero in the past, and as his son you're not inferior to him. I'm truly very happy for him. Dad has also mentioned you to me, Auntie," said Tang Xiu. "He said that you were always with Uncle Song when performing your duties overseas. He even told me that he and Uncle Song wouldn't have survived if it weren't for your care back when they were gravely injured." When Jing grabbed Tang Xiu's hand and amiably said, "Well, it's all in the past, it's nothing to speak of today. Anyhow, your uncle is still working outside, but we shall have a feast tonight when he comes back. All right, let's go and sit inside. Auntie is going to cook and personally serve some delicious meals for you." "All right, and thank you, Auntie." After he said that, Tang Xiu turned around to grab the gift box prepared in advance from Mo. He handed it over to Wen Jing and said, "I brought a gift for you, Auntie, please receive it. I hope you like it." Chapter 968, You know, but fart. "Why would you bring a gift to our home, child?" Wen Jing's voice was a bit scolding. "Song and your father are closer than blood brothers, while I also have a very good relationship with him, so this place is also your home. I can let this slip this time, but do not bring any more gifts." I'm already very happy with you simply visiting us. I'll be sure to remember that, Auntie, said Tang Shou smilingly. Afterward, they entered the inner courtyard and took a seat in the living room of the villa. When Jing then personally served some fruits and snacks and even made some tea, all of which made several housemaids nearby dumbfounded and exchanged glances in confusion. Upon seeing his mother's busy figure, Song Xiang smiled and said, "Well, you really got a big face, Tang Shou brother. You see, even when that emperor-like dad of mine comes home, Mom is rarely busying herself like that. Looking at her attitude and treatment toward you makes me quite envious of you." "Well, that's the love shown by Auntie for me," responded Tang Shou with a smile. "That's right, Auntie's complexion is rather pale. Does she have an illness?" The smile on Song Xiang's face slowly receded. His eyes glanced at Wen Jing, and he said bitterly, "Mom has been sick with a serious illness that doesn't have a cure. It's just that we're hiding it from her." "It's a liver disease, isn't it?" asked Tang Shou. Song Xiang was stunned and asked in surprise, "How do you know that?" "I have another identity in China as a young divine doctor in Chinese medicine," said Tang Shou. "I just observed her complexion a moment ago and my finger happened to touch her pulse when she grabbed my hand. Hence, I was able to tell that she contracted quite a serious liver disease." With eyes full of incredulity, Song Xiang stared at Tang Shou. Only after when Jing came over with tea did he finally come back to his senses. He said with amazement, "You're really amazing, Brother Tang, you're just awesome. I can say that I'm quite knowledgeable about Chinese medicine. Those who are hailed as divine doctors or miracle-working physicians have always been figures with amazing expertise in this field. Even many Chinese medicine practitioners who have been in the field for decades are not necessarily qualified to be called a divine doctor." "That's right, I heard there's a famous divine doctor in China called Gui Jianzhou. It's a pity that I have been unable to find his trace even though I've sent some people to China many times." "I know divine Dr. Gui Jianzhou. I have even worked with him for many days before," said Tang Shou smilingly. "He's indeed a great senior doctor of a noble character, highly respected, and one with great expertise in medical skills. I also know how to contact him." Song Xiang abruptly got up and hurriedly said, "Brother Tang, please tell me how to contact him quickly. I need to find him. I must." "Who exactly are you looking for?" Xiang asked Wen Jing as she arrived with tea. There was a puzzled look on her face. Song Xiang's face slightly changed, and he gave a signal with his eyes to Tang Shou quickly before he quickly responded with a dry smile, "It's just an old friend I know, Mom. It's been a very long time since I last met him, so I didn't expect that Brother Tang Shou would also know him and could contact him after this chat." Wen Jing looked at Tang Shou and asked, "Is that so?" Instead of answering her question, Tang Shou just slightly smiled and said, "Auntie, I can see that your body seems to be in a poor state, so you should have been ill for a while. Do you mind letting me treat you? I happen to have some expertise in Chinese medicine. I dare not say that there's a 100% guarantee that I can cure you, but I am at least 99% sure." "What a darn fart." A disagreeing voice came from the door as a young man wearing a white t-shirt, denim pants, a hat, and slippers walked inside. He looked a bit angry as he came to Tang Shou's front and said loudly, "Hey, kiddo. Where the heck did you come from? You dare to spit bullshit in our house and even talk about Chinese medicine? Do you even know what Chinese medicine is, huh?" Tang Shou shifted his gaze and looked at his face. He was able to recognize this young man's identity at once. He didn't even have the slightest anger at all and instead put out a faint smile as he stretched out his hand and said, "You're Song Yang, right? I'm Tang Shou. Nice to meet you." Song Yang rolled his eyes and then raised his nostrils upward, saying, "I never shake hands with nobodies, let alone with people I don't like. I've heard about Uncle Tang and I admire him. But you, don't expect me to look up at you just because you're acting like a passionate person. Hey, shut up. Shut your mouth. Wen Jing and Song Yang shouted at the same time. Tang Xiu only smiled in response as he waved his hand. He looked at Song Yang's contemptuous expression and lightly smiled. Well, you seem so hostile to me. Care to tell me the reason? Why should I? How old are you, kid? Humph, sneered Song Yang as he said, I thought Uncle Tang's son would also be a heroic-like figure just like him. But I never thought that you're just a braggart, one who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. A braggart who doesn't know the immensity of the world. In that instant, Tang Xiu understood why Song Yang was hostile to him. It was because he took the initiative to treat his auntie Wen Jing from her illness, thus causing his ire. It was no surprise since Song Xiang told him that they had been hiding the condition of their mother's illness, rubbing him the wrong way and naturally making him angry. After figuring out the reason, Tang Xiu straightly ignored Song Yan and looked at Wen Jing instead, saying, Auntie, you don't yet know what kind of illness you've contracted, but you should be experiencing painful attacks often, right? Wen Jing shot a look at her two sons first and fell into silence for a while. She then shook her head and sighed, as a matter of fact, I know what illness I have. They think that they can hide it from me despite the fact that I already knew that I have liver cancer at a late stage. What did you just say, Mom? Interjected Song Xiang hurriedly. There's no way you can get liver cancer. After glaring fiercely at Tang Xiu, Song Yang chimed in, Please don't make a blind conjecture, Mom. What cancer? You've definitely not contracted cancer. It's just a minor illness. You'll definitely be able to live for 100 years in the future. I can tell that this damn man surnamed Tang is not a good man. Please don't listen to him. I'm sure that he's just trying to fool you. What exactly happened to your head, Yang Yang? When did Tang Xiu annoy you to make you always target him, huh? Scolded Wen Jing with a cold expression. Whether he can cure my illness or not, the filial piety he shows me is just right. He said that he knows Chinese medicine. But I said it's a damn fart, Mom, rebuked Song Yang with an unhappy face. Those who have expertise in Chinese medicine are seniors in that field, ones who have real talents at that. Having the idea that he's good at it is nothing but ridiculous. If anything, he can deceive others, but there's no way he can fool me. Well, I get where you're coming from, especially the mood you have, but it's best not to entertain any thought to the extreme. Tang Xiu looked at him and said, As for whether me being a practitioner of Chinese medicine is a lie or not, why don't you see it for yourself? Auntie may not know how serious her condition is, but you should know about it, right? Since her sickness has arrived at this stage, how about letting me try to cure her? Won't it become a fortunate matter that is worth rejoicing if I happen to be able to cure her? You. Song Yang was about to rebuke, but he suddenly felt a numb sensation in his throat and was unable to let out any sound from his mouth. The moment after, his body trembled a few times, and some other parts went numb before his whole body was no longer under his control. What the hell? What the fuck is going on with me? How can I not talk or be able to move at all? What exactly is happening? What were those numb sensations a while ago? Did my acupoints get attacked? His eyes chaotically glanced around nervously, yet he tried hard to free himself from the predicament. It was a pity for him that he was unable to no matter how hard he tried. Is there a quiet room, Auntie? Asked Tang Xiu. Just trust me, just like the faith you had in my father and Uncle Song in the past. All right. Wen Jing sighed inwardly after looking at the three children in front of her. Ever since she noticed that her health was deteriorating and that she contracted an illness, she went to the hospital for a checkup and looked at the result herself. On the checkup report, it was clearly written that she had contracted cancer and the symptoms she had were exactly the symptoms that liver cancer patients suffered with. However, even though she held similar thoughts as her second son, Song Yang, doubting that Tang Xiu could cure her liver cancer, it was Tang Xiu's first visit to their home. It was also Tang Xiu's goodwill in having the intention to treat her, a good starting point of their relationship. Hence, she didn't reject Tang Xiu and even missed the abnormality happening to her son, Song Yang. She then led Tang Xiu to the end of the corridor and came to the massage room. As for Song Xiang, he was keenly aware of the peculiarity happening to his younger brother. But he was more worried about his mother. He walked in strides to catch up to them as when Jing and Tang Xiu were about to enter the massage room. Song Xiang quickly reached out to grab Tang Xiu's hand and said in a whisper, "Brother Tang, your guess is correct. Mom has contracted liver cancer at a late stage and her condition is quite serious. It's almost impossible to cure her with the current level of medical care out there. Please don't act recklessly. It's fine to give up if you have no means since Mom is at least still alive. No worries." Tang Xiu slowly nodded and said, "I will use my discretion." As they entered the room, Tang Xiu gestured Song Xian to stop following them. Then, he closed the door from the inside before turning around to Wen Jing, smilingly saying, "Auntie, do you want to feel some comfort and enjoyment?" "What comfort?" asked Wen Jing curiously. "Tuina massage. The method is a technique in Chinese medicine," explained Tang Xiu with a smile. "Frankly speaking, I can tell that you're doubting my expertise in this field too. The reason why you accepted my idea to treat you is that you don't want to refuse my good intention for fear that it would make me feel embarrassed." When Jing observed Tang Xiu and suddenly found that this child in front of her was actually smarter and more sensible than she thought, a character that would become very powerful in the future. It was just unfortunate that she had contracted cancer, now at a late stage. Else, she wanted to witness the success and achievements that could stir the world be brought by this child in the future. "I'll try it then. Let your aunt see your ability, Tang Xiu. Auntie will definitely cook delicious meals that will satiate your cravings if your Tuina massage skill is truly outstanding," said Wen Jing with a smile as she laid down on the massage bed. "Okay." Tang Xiu nodded with a smile. Chapter 969, Overwhelming Stench. Calmly looking at Wen Jing laying in front of him, Tang Xiu gently lifted his hands and controlled his primal chaos power to flow and circulate in the palm of his hand. The Tuina massage itself was able to balance the yin and yang energy, as well as blend, manage, and reinforce them. It could also unclog the energy channels in the meridians and activate all the key points and other significant effects, such as regulating the nerves and bodily functions that govern the immune system, promoting visceral health and beautifying one's skin. Certainly, the principal effect it brought was to improve blood circulation, eliminating fatigue and improving one's capacity to exercise. Wen Jing's physical condition was such that her bodily functions had deteriorated so much that the cells inside her body had been constantly devoured by the cancer cells, causing her physical condition to drop into an abysmal state. It was best to improve the condition of her physique first before any treatment began, that way her body would be able to endure the treatment. The various techniques of Tuina massage that are used in the process of massage are intended to stimulate the meridians and acupoints in one's body, even just a specific section of them. There are more than 100 kinds of techniques, but the most commonly used ones are only 4 kinds: pressing-based, kneading-based, pushing-based, and holding-based ones. There are also some other techniques that are mainly based on rubbing, such as flat pushing, rolling, and rubbing techniques, whereas some other techniques involve body shaking like patting, tapping, or shaking, and so on. Other than those, there are also techniques to exercise and move the joints between limbs like cracking, pulling, and turning, as well as stretching and so on. Tang Xiu's Tuina massage therapy did not consist of a single technique, but instead was a combination of dozens of massage techniques that ultimately formed a unique massage therapy. Regardless of the duration of the massage, the movement and strength that were applied constantly changed according to the various techniques being applied. The limbs and the waist were the parts that Tang Xiu mainly massaged. As he found that when Jing was drowsy, the look of pain on her face that was previously hard to conceal also gradually disappeared. He immediately released his primal chaos power to wrap her limbs and waist and lifted her up several meters, turning over her body extremely quickly to lay her down on the massage table. feet, legs, hips, waist, back, arms, neck and head. Tang Xiu secretly released his primal chaos power to circulate in her meridians and determine every acupoint, all over Wen Jing's body, strengthening them to the utmost while nourishing them with his power secretly. The sleepy Wen Jing was deeply drowning in an unspeakable yet comfortable state, so much so that she didn't even realize that she lightly moaned during the continuous technique applied by Tang Xiu. After half an hour, Tang Xiu stopped massaging and took out Silver Needle's box from his interspatial ring. Despite the obstruction from the clothes worn by Wen Jing, every silver needle was accurately inserted into several important acupoints all over her body. The process of invigorating and nourishing the blood followed every breath, as Tang Xiu sent a wisp of his primal chaos power into every silver needle applied to the acupoints over Wen Jing's body. After he was done applying them, he held her arm and checked her pulse with his finger while slowly pouring his power into her meridians. Speaking in another sense, the human body could be said to be a net, while energy acted like its wire. Intricate energy lines were being waved by his primal chaos power, along with the meridian network inside Wen Jing's body, stretching into her 4 limbs and 5 main internal organs. This washing process was applied to remove the cancer cells in her body and slowly force them out of her system. Due to her frail physical state, it was necessary for Tang Xiu to spend a great amount of energy and work towards an early stage of treatment, since he didn't dare to use much power than needed. His only option was to slowly eliminate the cancer cells and then discharge them by applying this cleaning method step by step. Time fleeted by, and Song Xian continued waiting outside the room in restlessness. He had even stopped his younger brother, Song Yang, from going in several times already. He did hear from his father that Tang Xiu was a young man with outstanding skills. Therefore, although he didn't believe that Tang Xiu would be able to cure his mother of cancer, he was still able to hold himself back while feeling restless. "Be careful, brother. You stop me again and you'll face my rage," roared Song Yang with a furious face. "Song Yang, you gotta remember that this world is so big. Countless strange phenomenon and things can exist and occur," said Song Xiang with a heavy voice. "We don't know much about Tang Xiu and nobody can guarantee that he's not one of those people with bizarre abilities. You also clearly know about Mom's illness. I don't give a damn about what kind of means are used. We must attempt everything to cure her, even if our efforts fail again and again. Can't you see that fucking man surnamed Tang is nothing but a shit con man?" angrily shouted Song Yang. "Have you ever seen any Chinese medicine practitioner as young as him? That punk must be just a braggart if you ask me. There's no way he has such a skill." "How do you know if he doesn't have it?" sneered Song Xiang. "It's not something we can conclude yet. Besides, to me, he's much better than you in some respects." "Better than me?" Song Yang clenched his fists and angrily asked, "I dare you to tell me in which aspects he's better than me? If I remember correctly from what Dad told me about his identity, he's the big boss of the magnificent Tang Corporation in China. Yet, he founded his company without using any power or connections the Tang family has," said Song Xiang. "Now you tell me. Do you have what it takes to establish anything that can compare to his company with your own skill, huh? Can you earn hundreds of millions of dollars in such a short time like him?" The argument made Song Yang's anger subside. He opened his mouth, but found himself unable to retort. He didn't know about Tang Xiu, but he at least knew about the magnificent Tang Corporation and that Tang Xiu was its founder. Tang Xiu also has another identity. He's hailed as the young divine doctor in the Chinese medical field, added Song Xiang with a solemn face. "I dunno whether it's true or not, but you can check it on the internet. There should be reports about him on the internet if he's really famous." "The young divine doctor." Song Yang snorted in contempt, but still swiftly took out his smartphone and quickly searched for young divine Dr. Tang Xiu. In just a few seconds, the contemptuous look on his face a moment ago instantly froze and his eyes turned round, nearly bulging out of their sockets. "What's wrong?" Upon seeing his younger brother's expression, Song Xiang looked puzzled and reached out to snatch Song Yang's smartphone. As he took a fast glance at the screen, a look of disbelief and incredulity covered his face since there were so many articles about Tang Xiu on the internet, especially regarding his identity as a miracle-working doctor who had saved patients and cured their disease. There was a lot of hype and praises about him, hailing him as the reincarnation of Bian Ke and the living Hua Tua. No way. Could it be that all these reports on the internet are real? Muttered Song Yang with a somewhat strange voice. He really excels in Chinese medicine? But how is this possible? Song Xiang standing next to him was also shocked, yet there was also a happy expression on his face. He said in a deep voice, I told you nothing in human life can be predicted so easily, and to never judge someone based on their appearance, didn't I? Have you forgotten the old adage that says that men cannot be judged by their looks and that you can't measure the ocean with a bushel? He comes from China, a country with more than 1 billion people, where hidden dragons and crouching tigers have always appeared for countless generations. Maybe Tang Xiu really has an extraordinary talent in traditional Chinese medicine. Song Yang snatched back his smartphone and swiped the screen with his finger to read the news, continuing his search for more information. Only after a long time did he finally stop and heave a sigh of relief. At this time, however, there was no longer anger on his face, but an embarrassed expression instead as he let out a dry smile and said, What you said may be right, big brother. It is I who look down on him. A smile was now worn on Song Xiang's face and he nodded. Regardless of the outcome of whether he is able to cure our mother or not, you owe him an apology. Let alone that he did it out of goodwill. Just the fact that he's the son of Uncle Tang is a must for us not to have a fight with him, got it? I'll behave and be more polite to him later, replied Song Yang. But if he can really cure Mom, let alone apologize, I'll pull out my own heart if he wants it. I'll never apologize to him if he can't cure her. His response made Song Xian frown. But, as he was about to rebuke him, his nostrils suddenly twitched a few times and he looked at the other end of the corridor and said with a confused face, Where does this stench come from? Song Yang also smelled the stench and then pointed to the massage room's door and said, This stench seems to be drifting out from that room. But, it's strange, though. The housemaid usually cleans the massage room very deeply, and there's nothing rotten there either. How can this stench come from there? The two men exchanged glances and their expressions suddenly changed as they dashed nearly at the same time toward the door and pushed it open. Cough, cough. A putrid stench burst out and greeted them, catching the two brothers off guard and causing them to choke and cough at the same time. At the same time, Tang Xiu was standing by the massage bed. He turned around and saw Song Xiang and Song Yang coming in. Upon seeing their choking and miserable expressions, he immediately let out a smile and said, I told you not to come inside, didn't I? Yet you ignored it. Did you really doubt me and worry about my treatment perhaps? Song Xiang stopped coughing and held back the overwhelming nausea in his stomach. His eyes moved from Tang Xiu to his mother on the massage bed, only to notice that his mother's clothes were drenched, while a dark and sticky grayish-black substance was covering her exposed skin. That grayish-black substance was the culprit of this putrid stench. Tang Xiu brother, how is my mom? The treatment process has been applied smoothly, but it's not done yet, said Tang Xiu with a smile. Well, if you both can ignore the smell, then you can stay here and watch. But remember, do not disturb me. Of course, you can just leave the room and wait outside if you can't stand the smell in the room. Song Yang firmly pressed his nostrils and looked at Tang Xiu's calm expression. Strong admiration now birthed inside his heart. The pungent stench in the room was so unbearable that he felt like he couldn't stay inside for even a minute. Yet Tang Xiu seemed to not be disturbed by it whatsoever. Just this willpower was something he couldn't compare with him. Damn. You're amazing. He used his other hand to raise his thumb before turning around and rushing outside. Song Xiang himself held his breath, but the stench still kept drilling in his nostrils. He wanted to stay inside to see Tang Xiu treat his mother, but the pungent smell irritated his nostrils too much, making eyes turn watery. He could only choose to go back outside, but quickly remarked before he left, "Thanks a bunch, brother. I leave Mom in your hands. Let's spare all the polite chit-chat, shall we? I'll definitely do my best." Tang Xiu waved and smilingly said, "Also, remember to close the door when you're outside and keep anyone from coming in. I'm afraid that they will disturb my treatment process." "Got it," replied Song Xiang without hesitation. He then closed the door with his backhand. Chapter 970, Excessive Hospitality. Song Xiang's eyes were gleaming as he gazed at the massage room's door with a heart full of admiration as well as gratitude. Regardless of whether Tang Xiu could cure his mother, just the fact that Tang Xiu was able to stay inside with such an intensely pungent odor all around was admirable. "I'm fully convinced, brother," sighed Song Yang as he gasped while looking towards the massage room's door, a bit of awe on his face. "Now you admit it, huh?" Song Xiang loudly laughed. "We were only able to endure the pungent odor for a few minutes inside. It's kinda a miracle for Brother Tang to treat it as nothing. Just this alone is enough for us to look up to him." Song Yang nodded, but he seemed to recall something all of a sudden and curiously asked, "Brother, can you tell what's going on there? Could that grayish substance on Mom's body be a special medicinal ointment concocted by Tang Xiu?" "It should be." Song Xiang nodded. An hour then passed by in the blink of an eye. Song Xiang and Song Yang were waiting outside the massage room as Song Guanghui came rushing from the outside. When he saw his two sons standing at the massage room's door, he creased his brows and quickly asked, "Where's Tang Xiu, and what are you two doing here?" "Ugh, what's this stench?" "Tang Xiu is currently treating Mom in the massage room, Dad," answered Song Xiang. "This stench comes from there and seems to be from some ointments used by him." Song Guanghui was stunned, but he suddenly remembered Tang Xiu's identity as a young divine doctor. He immediately patted his forehead and said self-mockingly, "How the hell did I forget about it? Tang Xiu is hailed as a young divine doctor in Chinese traditional medicine in China, so he must have great expertise in this field, if he really can cure the illness of your mother. That would be great." But Song Xiang poured out a bucket of cold water and said, "Let's not be so optimistic for now, Dad. Even if he is touted as a miracle-working doctor of Chinese medicine in China, curing Mom would be very difficult. After all, cancer is not as easy to treat as other diseases to begin with. I've never heard of any hospital or doctor who can cure patients with cancer at a late stage, at least not at the present level of medical care today unless there's some miracle in work." The reminder made Song Guanghui's expression turn stiff, and he immediately nodded with a solemn expression. Ultimately, as Tang Xiu opened the door from the inside, Song Guanghui, Song Xiang, and Song Yang shifted their gazes immediately. They could see a bit of a weary expression on Tang Xiu's face. Song Guanghui then asked hurriedly, "How is your aunt, Tang Xiu? Was your treatment effective on her?" "Rest assured, Uncle Song," said Tang Xiu with a smile. "I have eliminated 2/3 of the cancer cells in Aunt's body, only 1/3 of it remains in her system. I'll stay in Saipan for the next 2 days to continue her treatment, so I should be able to remove all of the cancer cells in her body." "What did you say?" exclaimed Song Guanghui with a trembling body due to his shock. Song Xiang and Song Yang were likewise shocked and dumbfounded, making them paralyzed as they stared at Tang Xiu with shocked faces, unable to utter anything for a long while. "Actually, cancer is not a serious illness to me," said Tang Xiu smilingly. "I have cured some patients with late-stage cancer before. They are now healthy, and even if they can't live for a very long time, they should have decades to live their life." Grabbing Tang Xiu's arm, Song Guanghui asked with a slightly trembling voice, Is it, for real? Can you really remove all the cancer cells in your aunt's system thoroughly? You can completely cure her?" "That's right," said Tang Xiu with a faint smile. He could feel the excited mood Song Guanghui had. Song Guanghui then released Tang Xiu's hand and clenched his fists excitedly as he punched the air a few times. With a face turned red due to the excitement, he said, "It's great. That's really great. Blame me for not asking for your help earlier, otherwise, your aunt could have been cured of cancer already." "Thank you, Tang Xiu. Thank you so much. I know you're very happy, Uncle Song. But please don't mention it," said Tang Xiu with a smile. "I'm a Chinese traditional medicine practitioner, so it's my duty to treat and free patients from their illnesses. Besides, we're just like relatives, so it's kinda an obligation for me after knowing that Auntie has contracted cancer. If I just did nothing and Dad knows about it, I'm sure he would definitely break my legs." "Well said. We're indeed a family, so I'll skip all the polite talks with you," said Song Guanghui. "That's right, though. Can I go inside now to see your aunt?" "Of course, you can," said Tang Xiu with a strange expression. "It's just, you gotta be mentally prepared, though." "Mentally prepared? What for?" asked Song Guanghui after staring blankly. "Well, the cancer cells I forced out from Auntie's system are now plastered all over her body, producing the pungent stench from the impurities brought out by the cancer cells," said Tang Xiu smilingly. "Hence, I think you're the best person to wash Auntie's body, although you must endure this stench." Song Yang, who stood nearby, exclaimed, "What did you say, Tang Xiu? You mean that grayish-black substance on Mom's skin is not a special ointment concocted by you? But, it is the impurities brought out by the cancer cells inside her system?" "That's correct." Tang Xiu nodded with a smile. "I didn't use any ointment at all. I just used acupuncture techniques to stimulate the potential of her body, and then controlled the cancer cells to be discharged out of her system." The answer made Song Yang stunned silly, whereas Song Xiang practically turned into a stone sculpture. The two brothers' gaze at Tang Xiu was as though they were seeing a kind of monster, one that was not purely bred on Earth, but instead was like a super monster from space. They had heard countless magical stories and they had also seen some bizarre things, yet they never encountered such an incredible situation like this. Half an hour passed, and when Song Guanghui walked out of the massage room while propping up Wen Jing, he had already washed her body inside massage room's bathroom. The pungent stench had completely dissipated, and now all they could smell was the nice-smelling coconut milk-flavored soap from Wen Jing. "Thank you, Tang Xiu." The way Wen Jing looked at Tang Xiu was much softer and gentler than before. It was like she was looking at her own son, full of love and satisfaction. Tang Xiu paced forward to support her arm and smilingly said, "There's no need for such small talk between family members, Auntie. This is just what I should do." Nodding in response, Wen Jing then said, "You're a good boy. Then I'll skip the small talk. I feel a bit weak, but the pain caused by the cancer cells are gone. As time passes by, my body feels even more comfortable. It feels nice and warm, the kind of warmness brought by a heater. You will indeed feel weak for some time." Tang Xiu said, "It's because you had so many impurities from cancer cells forced out of your system. As a matter of fact, the cancer cells' impurities are also a kind of energy which can be said to be an extra energy source for your body, yet this kind of energy has a bad effect on your system instead of being beneficial. Have some rest for a while and then take some nutritious hot porridge, Auntie. I'll prescribe something for you to boil and prepare later, so you'll have a good sleep after taking it. You'll feel 100 times more energetic by morning." "All right. But I must cook for you first before resting, though," said Wen Jing smilingly. "No need to cook for me, Auntie," said Tang Xiu quickly. "Your body is too weak now." "That's right. Tang Xiu can feel your good intention, but your body is more important." Song Guanghui also nodded and added, "Besides, it won't be too late to show your culinary skills to Tang Xiu after you get better tomorrow." "No. I like this child. When Jing stubbornly shook her head and said, "This is his first time visiting our home, so I must cook for him myself." "That's right, don't you have 2 bottles of fine wine in your collection? Go and get them. Let us all have a drink tonight." "Hey, all right." Song Guanghui was perfectly aware of his wife's stubborn character. Nobody would be able to change her mind once she made it. Upon seeing this, Tang Xiu no longer refused either and just signaled Song Xiang with his eyes. The two of them then helped Wen Jing to go to the kitchen to help her cook. As for Song Yang, his eyes followed his mother and Tang Xiu as they vanished into the kitchen. He then turned his head to look at Song Guanghui and asked in a low voice, "Dad, do you really believe what Tang Xiu just said, that he can fully cure Mom?" For a short while, Song Guanghui fell into silence before replying in a low voice, "I'll tell you about something, kid. But you must bury everything I tell you inside your stomach. There's probably nobody in this world who can cure your mom of cancer except Tang Xiu. He's a cultivator, and if you don't know what a cultivator is, you can search about the existence of cultivator on the net. But keep it in mind to never tell this to anyone, ever." "A cultivator?" Song Yang nodded and whispered, "I don't need to search for this type of information, Dad. I know what kind of existence a cultivator is." "But then, isn't that the kind of people regarded as deities and immortals in the myths? Those kinds of people really exist in this world?" "They exist, I know that," said Song Guanghui with a dead serious expression. In that instant, the expression in Song Yang's eyes turned totally different than before. He gazed towards the kitchen with eyes full of enthusiasm, yet there was also thirst faintly mixed deep within. Cultivators, as told in legends and myths, were those who could summon the forces of nature, change the seasons, and fly in the sky with a life that could span for centuries. In case that Tang Xiu was really a cultivator and truly possessed these abilities, then he must think of the means and do everything to learn from him. After dinner, when Jing went to the bedroom to rest, whereas Song Guanghui took Tang Xiu, Song Xiang, and Song Yang to the study on the 2nd floor. Song Yang diligently and attentively boiled a pot of tea and came to the front of Tang Xiu. Then, he poured a cup and handed it over to him, saying solemnly, "Big brother Tang, you're 2 years older than me, so I should call you Big Brother. This younger brother of yours was ignorant, so I hope you can tolerate me in the future." Tang Xiu received the cup of tea with a light smile and said, "We're all brothers, so no offense taken. You are truly a great man with a big heart and a broad mind, Big Brother Tang." Song Yang responded with a wide smile. "We are brothers, so we must be close in the future." "That's for sure." Tang Xiu smiled. Unaware that there was a small dispute between Tang Xiu and Song Yang previously, Song Guanghui interjected with a smile, "You're all brothers, so you must be close to each other in the future indeed. I and Big Brother Tang Yunda are already old, so the future is for juniors like you to take. I really wish that I can witness you all make progress and support each other in life in the future."